Hey everybody, welcome back to Enjoying Retirement. Today we are in Phuc, the oldest silk village in Vietnam. It started about 1200 years ago and has been running continuously since then, producing some of the finest silk in Vietnam. It is about a $6 grab ride from downtown Hanoi. And when you go into the main gate, if you look off to the left, you're going to see an ancient temple and statue to Buddha. And it's just a very pleasant, quiet place to spend a few moments, either at the beginning or at the end, perhaps while you're waiting for your ride to show up. Very beautiful. All right, we're going to take a quick look at a banyan tree, which has been there quite a while, and the ancient temple itself. I don't have any more information on that temple. I wish I did, but I just can't find it. All right. Let's get back to the Silk Village. First thing you'll see is a beautiful set of umbrellas lining the street. And then if you look off to the right, see the yellow doors go through there. That's the mural alley. But hey, I don't know if you can hear that, but I can. First, let's look at some silkworms. Yeah, those are kind of old and not looking too good. But that is what silkworm cocoons look like. But more important to me, here is a loom. Now, what's amazing to me is on the flight over, I had just finished a book. And that book was all about the upheaval in England in the late 1700s, early 1800s, as hand weaving was replaced by automated weaving and eventually the Jacquard attachment. And oh my gosh, there it is. Hey, one of those things. You read about it, you're fascinated by how machines work. There you have it, and then we walked right into one. So let's take a moment and we will talk about how these things work and produce this beautiful fabric. I'm guessing that this loom is well over 100 years old. But it is very similar to those that were initially developed in the early 1800s. Back then, they might run on steam power or water wheel. And then they became mechanized and became the power loom. But just look at this. Look at that crankshaft that's driving everything. And we're going to go into slow motion here in a little bit and show it to you. There's the warp going through, and then the heddles in the background. Very cool. But what makes this thing particularly interesting to me is up there. That is the Jacquard mechanism. And it is run by punch cards. A lot of people will say this was the first binary computer. And in fact it is. It uses similar punch cards to what those of us may remember from the 60s and 70s when we punched in our Fortran code. Very, very interesting. All right, there's the shuttle going back and forth. You can see it's moving very, very quickly. And if we slow it down, and this is slowed down by 4 times, we can get a good sense of how the loom works. If you look there in the back, you can see metal rods attached to portions of the thread. That is what the Jacquard mechanism is telling the system to raise and lower. And depending upon which threads are raised and which ones are lowered, that will print a pattern. Practically any pattern can be duplicated on a Jacquard loom. It is translated into basically zeros and ones. In this case, holes or not holes. And when it's fed into the computer up there, a needle is either going to be pushed forward or not. That needle is connected to one of the heddles holding up one of the warp threads. If there's a hole, it's not going to be pushed up. If there's no hole, it's going to be pushed up. So by programming where the holes are, you are programming which threads are being raised and which ones are being left alone, and that determines what the pattern is. And you can do that endlessly on a Jacquard mechanism. And there is the resulting product. Just absolutely fascinating. All right, let's get on and go ahead and take a look at the village. The village. I don't know exactly how many silk shops are here, but let me just say it is more than enough. Maybe 30, 40, 50, perhaps more. What's unique about it is every time you go around a corner, if you explore it a little bit more, you are going to see more silk shops. And there are some beautiful headscarves. And here are some of the rolls that are produced at the village itself. Different colors, different patterns as programmed by the Jacquard mechanism. More umbrellas going out to the street itself, and that is one thing I want to mention. This is an active street. There are cars, there are vehicles, scooters going by, so just be careful. And you can buy anything from raw fabric to all the dresses, traditional dresses, shirts, sweaters, anything else you want to see. Yeah, it's just fascinating going through there looking at the talent. Now, I do want to mention, if you happen to see a print like that, guess what? That was probably printed in China. The dress may have been tailored in Vietnam, but those fancy type prints such as that, they are most likely done in China. So make sure you ask, and also you're not going to find too many labels in the clothing here saying actually where the silk was manufactured and where the dress was made. But anytime you see that heavy jacquard style cloth, you know it's going to be made there. But just ask to be sure. You don't want to get any surprises and assume. Let's just go ahead and take a look at some of the shops here and some of the things that they offer. If you happen to walk down the back alley, go for it. Go down here, you're going to find another whole row of silk shops. And like everywhere else, sometimes you can get a better deal if you get off the main drag a little bit. And there really are endless places that you can explore here, such as this area. I believe it had some food offerings. The street keeps on going. And here is more silk, and this one also has another Jacquard Power loom in it. Cleaner, brighter, but I just enjoyed the more traditional look of the other one. Although all that grease on one of the wheels next to the white silk, yeah, it made me kind of nervous. But here you get a beautiful view of a good loom. More silk shops. People there are friendly. Most of them have some degree of English. Some of them are more limited. So just go there, be prepared. And as you walk around, you're going to realize that this is not a fake village. This is a real village where people live and work, and they have their local market outside. I'm not going to show the whole market, but if you wander around long enough, you'll probably find it. And at the very end, there's this pool with another temple back there. Well, we're just about done on this trip. As we're walking back, we find another area, though. And here are some spins done with silk waiting to be woven into thread. Now, we walked back here hoping that we were going to find something demonstrating, you know, how the silkworms are raised, how the cocoons are soaked, how the silk thread is pulled from it, but we never did. Maybe that was somewhere else, but we did not see it on our visit. Nonetheless, this is a beautiful area with even more silk shops and another power loom. Just beautiful. And we did not see everything. We could have kept walking around there, and I don't know how much larger this area is. If you go, just give yourself plenty of time to explore. But we did follow the bamboo back a little bit, and we did find some mulberry plants. But there was no explanation about the worms, how they're used, how they're harvested, and how the silk is extracted. Hope you enjoyed this quick walk through the Phuc Silk Market outside Hanoi, Vietnam. We enjoyed it. Hope you do too. Thanks for watching, and as always, I am enjoying retirement.